Alright, how's everybody doing today? Back again with another one. It's your boy, DJ E-Legs, back up in the building, about to release another exclusive for you guys and gals, coming from an up-and-coming content creator. It's your boy E Drummond, and he back with some more reviews for everyone. So without further ado, I'm gonna let your boy E Drummond take it away and give y'all some more of the best products at the cheapest prices. Go ahead, E, tell them what it is. Alright. How's everybody doing today? Back again with another video. And today what I have for everyone is my full review of the Samsung Galaxy S7 Active. Alright? So if y'all are new to the channel or maybe you're returning, let me give you a brief rundown of how this works. Typically what happens is I get a product, I shoot my unboxing or pseudo unboxing in this case and first impressions, and then my review process starts. And once I feel like I got a handle on everything that I want to talk about and cover with you guys and gals, then it's full review time. So without further ado, let's jump into this full review of this relatively inexpensive high performance device, and hopefully by the end of it you guys and gals will know whether or not if this device is for you. And keep in mind, guys and gals, everything that I'm getting ready to talk about here is primarily in my opinion. And one thing I want to stress is that we're all welcome to our own opinions, alright? So, now that that's out the way, without further ado, let's jump into this full review. Now, starting off, the first thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals is the overall build quality, design, and durability of this device right here. Now, in terms of the overall build quality, I have to say Samsung has done a great job with this one. There's no rattling or creaking of any kind. All of the buttons are very clicky and give you a nice tactile and responsive feedback, and it feels very solid in the hand. It has a nice grip to the back, even though it's very slippery around the sides here, but the top and the bottom have this nice rubbery textured plastic, which actually makes it feel extremely nice. And as y'all can see, the top and the bottom are reinforced, so really good stuff there. Alright, so in terms of the overall build quality, it is top notch. In terms of the overall design, again, I really like this design, and I feel like Samsung went all out. Now, this is part of the Active lineup, so it's built to be rugged and really take some abuse. And I gotta tell y'all, in terms of the durability, this bad boy has been through it, okay? Now, officially, I've only dropped it 2 times. One was a face down drop, and I almost thought it was broken, but I picked it up, I dusted it off, and it dropped from about 5 feet. So it was a pretty substantial drop onto my wood flooring in the room here. And, you know, I thought it was broken. I picked it up. It was perfectly fine. But I did notice that when I go to white backgrounds, that it does have a tendency to show. Let me pull up something with a white background here so y'all can see. Let me see what I can find here real quick. It does have a tendency to show a little bit of a black spot right there. You can see it right there. So the display did get some damage, but other than that, the display itself is working almost perfectly. So that was from drop number 1. Now, that drop number 2, my bad. Drop number 1, I was unplugging it from the charger, and it slipped out of my hands and it fell directly down on the bottom part here, and you can see it nicked off some plastic. So that was the 2 major drops that I had with this device, and that was the only 2 drops that I had with this device, and those are the damages that I've gotten so far. But other than that, the overall durability, I would have to say, is really good, because although it did take that really harsh impact face down drop, the display itself is still functioning almost perfectly, and all I really did with the bottom of the device is nick off some rubber. Other than that, it works perfectly fine. So in terms of the overall durability, it is top notch, and I feel as though Samsung has done a great job. Also, Build quality and design, great job across the board in those aspects, Samsung. So all top-notch marks in those categories. Now let's keep it moving. The next thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals is the overall display on this bad boy. Alright, so up front, dead center here, we have a 5.1 inch quad HD display. That's 2560 by 1440p. That's a 2K display with a screen density of 576 pixels per inch, if I remember correctly. Now, as always, if I make any mistakes, I will correct them in post. But in terms of the overall display, I have to tell you guys, this has been a really, really good display, and I've had no issues. Now, when I'm using the device outdoors, I do have a tendency to have to keep it on higher brightness. Anything about 80% and up serves me well. And when I'm indoors here, you guys and gals can see I have it roughly a little bit under 50%, so about 40-45%, and it works perfectly for me indoors. So in terms of the display, I have to say this is a top-notch display. Again, Samsung did a great job in this category. I can't complain. Alright? So really, really good stuff there. Alright? Now, moving on, now I want to dive a little bit deeper into the hardware and software on this bad boy right here. Let's start off with the hardware itself, and this being the Active Series, it only came in one configuration. It has 4 gigs of RAM on board with 32 gigs of onboard storage. It does have micro SD card expansion up to 1 terabyte if you want to pick up a 1 terabyte card. It does have a heart rate sensor on the back here, a 12 megapixel rear facing camera which is capable of recording 4K at 30 frames per second and doing 720p 120 frames and 240 frames per second slow motion with the rear facing 12 megapixel camera, doing 1080p 60, 1080p 30, so on and so forth. You can pretty much record everything that you need with this camera right here. Alright, now we do have an always active capacitive fingerprint sensor on the front here, which works really, really nicely, and we do have texturized physical back and recess buttons. Alright, then flipping it over to the front, we have a 5 megapixel camera, we have a notification LED and light and proximity sensors, and our speaker grill, which is really, really good. I really like the notification LED and the 5 megapixel front facing camera, which can also record in up to 2K resolution at 30 frames per second. So really, really good stuff there. Alright, more hardware. This bad boy is packing a 4,000 milliamp hour battery on board. Okay, it supports quick charge 2.0, alright, which is 15 watt fast charging. It supports PMA wireless charging and Qi wireless charging as well. So really, really good stuff there. And it does have a micro USB charging port and a bottom firing speaker, just so y'all know. Alright. Then in terms of the chipset on board, this bad boy is packing a Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 quad-core processor and an Adreno 530 GPU, I believe it is. Alright, so that pretty much goes over all of the hardware on board with this guy. Oh, almost forgot. It is IP68 water and dust resistant, and it's military 810G compliant for drops, okay? So this bad boy is built to take a beating, and it really has survived. Now that officially goes over all of the hardware on this bad boy. Alright, and as always, if I missed anything, I'll go ahead and correct myself in post. Alright, now let's talk a little bit more about the software on board. Now, software wise, out of the box, this bad boy came with, I believe it was 5.0 Lollipop with Samsung's TouchWiz UI on top. It's since been upgraded to Android 7.0 Nougat, still running the TouchWiz UX. Okay, so you can see we pretty much have Samsung's the implementation when we talk about the settings and all that good stuff here. Now I am running a dark theme on this bad boy so y'all can see. Alright, but other than that, it's pretty much the Samsung experience without the nifty little pull down gestures and all of that stuff that you're used to if you're running a newer Samsung device. But I'd have to say that it's really, really good. Okay, and you know, talking about the software, it's been really, really good. Now it was a little bit of an adjustment period because I was really used to the Samsung experience and the One UI. So when I picked this up and it was running the older software, y'all know I had to go ahead and flash something a little bit newer on it already. So yeah, out of the box it came with Lollipop, but I upgraded it to Nugget. And I actually did a full tutorial on how you can manually flash your Samsung devices. So if y'all want me to, I'll link that video down below in the comments. Let me know. Alright? But in terms of the software, I have to say that it is really, really good. Alright? And I've had no issues with the software. It's been very fluid and snappy, even with all of my apps and benchmarking tools loaded up on it. It's been really, really fluid and snappy, and I've had no issues. Even with a bunch of apps loaded up in the background, I've had no issues. Now, it does suffer from the typical Android things, being as if you have more than, I want to say, 14 apps open in the background, you will notice the occasional app hiccup, stutter, and sometimes you may get the occasional crash. Depending on how much memory the app that you're trying to use is trying to pull from the device, you may get a crash or two, but that's pretty much standard for Android. Android really needs a little bit more optimization to run super smooth, but for what this device is, it does a great job in terms of the software performance. Alright, so this covers the hardware and the software on the S7 Active. Overall, I'd say it's really, really good. It's not the best that I've experienced, but it's pretty close. Pretty close indeed. Now, moving on. Next thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals is the overall Wi-Fi in this bad boy. Now, in terms of Wi-Fi, this bad boy is packing Wi-Fi 802.11 BGNN and AC dual band Wi-Fi. So what does that mean? This bad boy has support for your 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and your 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi as well. Let me go ahead and pull up some Wi-Fi stats so you guys and gals can see what I'm talking about here. Now, in terms of testing, just so you guys and gals know, I did test this bad boy on AT&T via FreeUp Mobile and T-Mobile via Text Now. Alright? Now, I couldn't do a lot of extraneous data testing because I only have a 2 gig plan on FreeUp Mobile, and I don't actually have a data plan with Text Now T-Mobile. It's just unlimited talk and text. But you guys and gals can see from the test that I did run, it was getting some really good speeds there, and I have to say it peaked out at 100 megabytes per second. And in terms of the Wi-Fi performance, again, it did a really great job. Alright? And I have some pretty good Wi-Fi here at the house. So really good stuff. Really good stuff indeed. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give you what you guys and gals have been waiting for. And that is a Wi-Fi performance test. And I'm also going to go ahead, let me kill the Bluetooth real quick. So y'all can, this Wi-Fi test will also double as a speaker test as well. So let's go ahead and pull that up. If y'all didn't know, the beginning portion of the video, I was actually connected up to my Omega M6 speakers here just for that little portion. You know, I figured we might as well mix it up. But right now, because I want to give y'all a speaker demonstration and a Wi-Fi performance test, let's go ahead and disconnect that and let's load up a YouTube video. And I do believe this YouTube video is copyright free. So let's max out the volume so y'all get a good idea of how the speaker sounds. And let's go ahead and push play. Alright, this is max volume. About a foot away. let it play for a few seconds, and I'll hold it up to the mic. Alright, let's hold it up to the mic now. Alright, let's check the Wi-Fi performance. So let's scrub through the video. Okay, so real quick Wi-Fi performance test, real quick speaker test as well. So as y'all can see, in terms of the Wi-Fi performance, it, in my opinion, has done a really good job. Again, it's not the fastest I've seen, but in terms of daily performance, it gets the job done. That being said, in terms of speaker performance now, if you're returning, you already know what I'm about to say. Overall, in terms of volume, it's really good. It gets very loud and stays very crisp and clear throughout, with little to no distortion on the low or the high ends of the volume spectrum. That being said, I am not a fan of the bottom firing speaker placement. In my opinion, all smart devices today need to have front-facing speakers on board. But that being said, for what it is, the speaker performance is really good. Not the best, but really good. Alright, now let's keep it moving. The next thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals now is the LTE and LTE bands supported on this bad boy right here. Now, in terms of the LTE and the LTE supported bands, as I said before, this bad boy is GSM unlocked, which means that it has all the necessary bands to run on carriers like AT&T and T-Mobile and any of their MVNOs. Okay, so this will work on Metro, this will work on Cricket, you know what I'm saying, and all of that good stuff. Anything that uses the AT&T and T-Mobile bands, this bad boy should work. Okay, so as y'all can see here, if your carrier supports any of these LTE bands, you should be good to go. Alright, so feel free and pause this for yourself. Now, if this is unclear, I'll throw up a screenshot in post so y'all can see all these bands. Alright, but in terms of the band support, I have to say that it's really good. Now, I'm a fan of globally unlocked devices, but for what this device is, it's really good. And I gotta tell y'all, the US, which is where I'm located, is making a big push towards GSM networks. So pretty soon, CDMA and WCDMA is going to be phased out, and we're pretty much only going to have GSM networks. And if we do have CDMA and WCDMA networks, it's going to be less as dominant. So it's going to be more GSM dominant networks and providers here in the States. So you really want to have, if you don't have a globally unlocked device, you want to have a GSM device. So that being said, I'm not as saddened by the fact that this is a GSM unlocked device. Okay? That does, however, mean that I couldn't put my primary Straight Talk Verizon SIM in here, but the overall performance via the LTE was really good, even though I couldn't put my primary SIM in here. Alright? So AT&T and T-Mobile should work no problem on this device right here. And if you have AT&T, you really are not going to have a problem because this is an AT&T exclusive device. Alright? Now, I don't believe they sell it anymore directly through AT&T, but there's a bunch of places where you can pick this up at some really great prices. Alright, so the next thing that I want to talk about with you guys and gals now is the overall Bluetooth performance on this bad boy right here. Okay? Now, in terms of the... I went a little bit ahead of myself. Bluetooth. I'm going to the wrong spot. Here we go. Let's turn it back on. And let's jump into it. There we go. Ahead of myself, y'all. Apologize. Now, in terms of the overall Bluetooth performance, this bad boy is packing Bluetooth 4.2 connectivity in it, or technology in it. So it's not the latest and the greatest. It's not Bluetooth 6, Bluetooth 5. But in terms of overall day-to-day performance, it has served me well, and I've had no issues with the overall Bluetooth performance. And here, just so y'all can get a sense, are some of the Bluetooth products that I connected up to the device, and they all worked without issue. So you can see my Omega M6s, my Bluetooth monitors, and my Sylvania Bluetooth speaker, and my Huawei Band 3 Pro. They all worked with this device, no problems. So the overall Bluetooth performance on here is really, really good. Okay, so if you're Bluetooth heavy like myself, you shouldn't have any issues, because you know that's really important to me, because we're trying to live that hashtag wireless lifestyle, hashtag no cables for the win. It is what it is. But the overall Bluetooth performance on here is really, really good, and I had no issues. Man, Samsung really knocked it out of the park with this device. Yeah, man, let's keep going. Up next now we can go where I was going to before. Let's talk about the overall GPS performance. Okay, this is a big category for me because I'm a very GPS dependent individual, and I use my GPS pretty much every day, whether I'm working out or going somewhere to record B-roll for you guys and gals for a particular video. I pretty much use my GPS every day. So when I'm looking at a device to make my daily driver, it needs to have solid GPS performance on board. If not, it's really going to get pushed down to the bottom of the list. And I'm very happy to report that the GPS performance on the S7 Active was top notch. It locked on within seconds, and I never lost GPS connectivity. So things like turn-by-turn navigation, or geocaching and geotagging work perfectly with this device. So if you're GPS dependent like myself, no need to worry, because this device is going to serve you well. Alright, so overall, top-notch marks when we come to the GPS performance. Alright, let's keep it moving. Up next now, this is where I want to talk to you guys and gals about the call quality and speaker call quality on this device. Now, in terms of the overall call quality, taking phone calls through the onboard receiver, I have to say that it was really, really good. Calls were very loud, crisp, and clear, and I didn't have any issues with the callers on the other end being able to hear me or me being able to hear them. So through the onboard receiver, call quality was really, really good, and that's really important because these are phones at the end of the day, so you need to be able to at least accomplish the bare essentials well, okay? And this device does that. That being said, taking speakerphone calls was exceptionally good on this device because Samsung has a speaker boosting software. So when I'm on a speaker call and I want it to be a tad bit louder, you just tap that speaker boost in the phone call and it boosts it right up. So whether I was taking built-in receiver phone calls or speaker phone calls, I didn't have any issues with this device. It all worked flawlessly. Alright, so top-notch marks in that regard, as well as my Bluetooth speakers turn themselves off. Sorry, guys. Now, moving on. The next thing I want to do now is give y'all my brief overall opinion of the onboard cameras on this bad boy here. Now, if you want a more in-depth look, including the photo and video samples, I've done a full dedicated camera walkthrough with all of the photo and video samples that I've taken with this device. Feel free to check that out. I'll link that up down below in the video description, and I may throw up a card or two somewhere on the screen, so feel free to check that out if you guys and gals would like to know more. That being said, when we talk about the cameras on the S7 Active, again, we have a 12 megapixel primary on the rear and a 5 megapixel up front secondary camera. Now, I have to say, these cameras were beautiful, beautiful. Whether I was taking photos or recording video, I had no issues with these cameras whatsoever, and that's why you've heard me say it in another video that when I'm done with this review, this device is going to be my primary content creating device for the channel. Alright? That's how good these cameras were, and that's how confident I am with this device that I'm going to permanently make it my content creating device. Alright, so after this review, I'm only going to have my thumbnail software, my video recording software, and my copyright free music loaded up on this device, and it's going to primarily be used to record video and take B-roll and take thumbnails for the channel. That's going to be what this device's life is like moving forward. But I jumped off task there. The overall camera performance on this device is really, really good, and it's helped even more by the fact that this still has Samsung's older camera software, which means I get dedicated pro mode for video and photo. And not only that, I do also get the capability to record video and photos via these front and rear facing cameras simultaneously. Those two features are two of my favorite features on any devices that I've have reviewed so far, and that's why I wasn't in a big of a rush to upgrade this to Android 8.0 Oreo, because it will get rid of that feature. Well, was it Oreo or was it Pi? I think it was either Oreo that got rid of the dual capture feature, and then if I upgraded to Pi, it would get rid of my Pro Mode feature for video. And those are two things that I use, so I'm not in a big rush to upgrade this device, okay? But overall, the camera performance is really, really good. The video performance, recording audio, is really, really good, and it gets even better when I plug in an external microphone. So really, really good stuff there. Okay? Alright, so cameras are top notch. Next, now this will be the portion of the video where I just want to give y'all my brief opinions over the gaming performance. Now, again, I've already done a separate dedicated gaming performance video, so feel free to check that out if you want to see how this device performed. But in terms of the overall gaming performance, it did a great job. Now, it did suffer from a lot of heating issues while gaming, but as long as I was mindful of the apps I had running in the background, I didn't have any gaming performance issues with this device. But it did get extremely warm under load. So that's one thing that I want to point out. So if you're a heavy gamer and you're thinking about picking up this device, just be mindful of that. You need to be mindful of the apps you have running in the background, and it does get warm, and it is noticeably warm. So keep in mind of that, all right? But overall, the gaming performance on here was really, really good. Again, I'll throw up a card on the screen somewhere, and I'll link the gaming performance video down below in the video description. But good stuff all around. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to briefly go over the benchmarks on this device. I'm really tired of benchmarks at this point, but you guys didn't comment and tell me that I could take it out, man. Do your boy a favor. If you don't care about benchmarks, go ahead, pause the video right now, and I need you to hashtag down below in the comments, benchmarks gotta go. Real quickly, help your boy out. Leave me that hashtag down below in the comments. If you don't, I have to keep including this section. Honestly, I don't feel like I need to include this section anymore because these devices nowadays have gotten so good that these synthetic benchmark scores mean absolutely nothing. But I do know there is a small segment of the audience that likes to see the raw performance data, so that's why I still include this. But if you feel like it's not necessary, go ahead and leave me that hashtag benchmarks gotta go down below in the comments. Let me know, guys, because I really don't want to include this. But I'm making these for everybody, so it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta do what you don't want to do. That being said, let's go over some of these benchmarks, okay? Now, in terms of the 3D Mark Ice Storm Unlimited test, it did a decent job scoring a 25,033. Alright? In terms of Antutu, it scored a 140,992. Really good stuff there. And it beat out about 23% of the competition, which was very surprising considering the age of this device. So you new cats, y'all is slacking. Y'all letting this old dog beat y'all out. But pretty good performance from Antutu. Alright. Now, this is the Valemo metal test. And it scored a 2,740, pretty much maxing out the test. Now, this is an older benchmark, but I still like to run it because I like to see how the older devices stack up to the newer ones. So even though this is a little bit of an older device, I still had to run it. But it maxed out this test. The Valemo metal test pretty much just stresses the hardware and it gives you back an overall score. Okay? And now this is the Valemo multi-core test, and once again, it maxed out the test, scoring a 3,276. So really, really good stuff, and that was very surprising considering the age of the processor on board this older device. Alright, now this is one of my favorite benchmarks to run. This is the Disco Mark multitasking benchmark, and pretty much with this benchmark, what you're able to do is load up any app on your device. The benchmark will cycle through said apps a set number of times and spit out an average time that it took your device to get through all of the apps. So you can see I loaded up all the apps that I run on a daily basis. I think it's anywhere from about 17 to 21 apps. Can't remember exactly, but y'all can see the time that this device scored. So this is one of the slower times that I've recorded on any device that I've reviewed, with a time of 36.56 seconds. So really, really slow. This is akin to the Moto X Pure Edition. Alright? But again, it's an older device, so I really wasn't expecting much. Now, in terms of older devices that I've reviewed, the one that really shocked me was the Google Pixel XL. The Google Pixel XL is still hanging with the newer devices. As I set off my devices back here, go to sleep, yo. Chill, chill. But in terms of the Disco Mark benchmark multitasking score, y'all can see the time right there. And it did about what I was expecting. Alright? Now, next we have the Geekbench 4 scores, and you can see for single core scores, it scored an 1154, and for multi-core scores, it scored a 3,999. So not too good single core, but pretty good multi-core. It is what it is. Again, keep in mind, older device, okay? Now, this is the Geekbench 4 compute test, and it scored a 4,961. So in terms of computing power, it's pretty good. Again, not one of the highest scores I've seen. I think the maximum compute test score that I've seen was about 9,000, but pretty good for what it is. All right? And I do believe that does it for the overall benchmarks. So in terms of benchmark performance, there you guys and gals go. You get to see it for yourself. So y'all take that with a grain of salt, because those are synthetic benchmark scores. And at the end of the day, I feel like benchmark scores mean absolutely nothing nowadays. What really should matter to us as end consumers and end users is the overall combination of hardware and software that should equate to an overall fluid and smooth user experience, which I feel this device does deliver. Okay? Not extremely smooth, but smooth enough. Alright? So that covers pretty much the benchmarks. Now, let's get into another important category. Wow, we kind of flew through this. We're almost done. The next category I want to talk about with you guys and gals is the battery life and the overall charge times. And I did a ton of battery life and charging testing, and I'll have the screenshots up in post so y'all know what I'm talking about as I get ready to talk about it here. But that being said, before I talk about my results, I just want y'all to be mindful of a few key factors that affect the battery life and the overall charge times. So number one, the display and the display technology affect the overall battery life, and it also affects the overall charge times. Because if you're using your device while you're trying to charge it and your display is on, you're constantly drawing power while your charger is trying to put power back in. So depending on the display technology, that may hurt or hinder you. So again, we got Super AMOLED technology on board. So whenever you have a black background or any black on the screen, the pixels are turned off. So with Super AMOLEDs, it only lights up the pixels for the necessary colors. So y'all can see the blacks on the display are super black and those whites are extra white. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like ice cream or white notebook paper, extra white. I don't even think my camera is doing it justice. But that's one thing I want y'all to keep in mind. So Super AMOLED technology on this one. And in my opinion, Super AMOLED technology is some of the best and most power efficient display technology on the market, second only to OLED technology. Okay? And again, resolution is another key factor. So this is a 2K display or 1440p display. So it is a very power hungry display. That being said, if you do want to save a little bit more power, you can jump into the display settings and turn down the display to 1080p and 720p respectively, so you can get more battery life out of your display. Now, when we talk about the battery life, which I'm getting ready to cover in a second here, I actually tested it two ways. I tested it at 2K resolution and I tested it at 720p resolution. And actually, 720p resolution is my favorite because that's where I found the best performance to battery life ratios. Okay? And I just set that back to that because after this video, this is what it's going to be at. Now, another thing I want y'all to keep in mind is the charging technology and the overall battery capacity. Okay? So again, this has Samsung Adaptive Quick Charge based on Qualcomm Quick Charge 2.0, and it's 15 watt fast charging when you plug it in to your USB micro USB port on the bottom. Okay? And it has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, after my battery conditioning, it's actually a little bit over 3,500 milliamps. Let me give y'all the exact numbers here, because y'all know we all about keeping it straight 100 here. So let me go into my battery monitor here, and we'll go to battery health. And just so y'all can see, after doing my battery conditioning and all of my tests, the battery health is at 89%, and it's about 3578 milliamp hours. So it's not 40 milliamp hours, a little bit over 3,500. So it is what it is. It's a little bit of an older device, and you can remedy that by picking up an extra battery and then going down to your local repair shop and asking them to swap it out. Or if you're adventurous enough, I'm not, you can try and attempt a battery swap yourself. There are a bunch of tutorials on YouTube that guide you through step by step how to replace your battery on this device. Okay? So there's a few things you can do to restore the battery health back to 100%. So I just wanted to let y'all know. Now we can get into my results, and keep in mind I'm an extremely heavy user, and any and everything that I can do from my device, I will do from my device, and your results may vary because we all use and charge our devices differently. Alright, so talking about the overall battery life with the S7 Active, on average I was easily able to get through a full day with light to moderate usage, and I was averaging about 4 to 7.5 hours of screen on time. My bad, didn't mean to bump the camera. Now, when I switched over to regular heavy usage, then I was averaging about 5 to 8.5 hours of screen on time. I was able to get into the 9 hours of screen on time mark but I did have to bump the display resolution down to 720p in order to get that, and then really kind of monitor what I was doing on the device. I couldn't just go all willy-nilly with it. So you can achieve greater than 8.5 hours screen on time, but it is going to take a little bit of concentration on the user's part. But for me, just regular usage, just using the device without a care, 5.5 to about 8.5 hours of screen on time. And with heavy usage, I can just barely make it to the end of the day with about 1 to 2% left. So yeah, it's pretty much a struggle. And if you're a heavy user like myself, you will need to charge the device one additional time to get you through the day. Alright, that being said, wireless charging wise, this bad boy took me anywhere from about I want to say 3 hours to 5 hours to reach a full charge, and that was with using the fast charging capability turned on. So if y'all don't know, I'll go ahead and cover it here again. If you want to turn on fast wireless charging on your Galaxy devices, you jump into the settings, okay? You go into advanced features here, then you go into accessories, and you can see it right here, fast wireless charging. You need to make sure that this is turned on in order to get the 10-watt charging out of your Samsung device. Now this is on all the newer Galaxy devices, so anything Samsung Galaxy S7 and up, you're going to need to make sure that this is turned on to get the absolute fastest wireless charging. If not, your device will only charge at the 5-watt standard Qi wireless charging standard. Okay? And I would actually recommend the 5-watt standard charge if you're going to charge your device overnight. No need to turn on fast wireless charging if you're asleep. All that does is beat up your battery a little bit more. And if you're going to be asleep, you're not going to be picking up your device. So just turn on the 5-watt regular charging and let your device go. I guarantee you by the morning, your device will be fully charged and you'll be ready to go. And as a matter of fact, let's turn that off, because after this, we're not going to be taking advantage of that. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. But in terms of wireless charging, this bad boy took about 3 hours to 5 hours to reach a full charge, and it does get really warm when you're using the wireless charging functionality. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And when I was testing the charging for this device, one thing that I always kept on was the always on display. Now this does drain the battery a little bit, but I really enjoy the always on display functionality, especially when my phone is on my night table or nightstands. It kind of turns my phone into a night table clock. So I really enjoy that functionality. So that's something that I left on through all of my charging tests. Okay? That being said, I also tested the device with everything syncing in the background and with the device in airplane mode. So if y'all see the little airplane icon on the screenshots, that's why y'all see that. And if you want the absolute fastest charging speeds, I recommend you put your devices into airplane modes. Now, there are some caveats with that. The one caveat being you will not get any notifications while your device is in airplane mode. Okay? So I just want to throw that one out there. If you guys try it out and you're like, I'm not getting any notifications, well, in airplane mode, you won't get any. All the modules for your device are turned off in airplane mode. Okay? So I just wanted to point that out. But that pretty much goes over the battery life and the overall charge times. I hope y'all found that helpful. Again, your results may vary. Now let's get into the last part of this video. And as I always do, if this video runs over 35-45 minutes, I will have it timestamped down below in the video description for your guys and gals' convenience. So feel free to check out those timestamps to jump around the video and learn more about the device that you would like to know. Alright, so now we getting into the price of this bad boy. Now, I already covered what I paid for it in the pseudo unboxing and first impressions, but we're going to cover that one more time. So I picked this up from Amazon from one of my favorite sellers. I have it up in post. again so y'all can see it. And this bad boy ran me about $85, a little bit over $85, and it was used like new condition, really good stuff. And I bought from this seller a bunch of times in the past and didn't have any issues, and they offer some really good warranty. Also, any product on Amazon backed by Amazon Prime is covered by Amazon's 30-day guarantee. Alright, so not only did I have, what was it? I think it was 60-day guarantee with the seller, I also had 30-day guarantee with Amazon. So if I ran into any issues, I could easily contact the manufacturer, not the manufacturer, contact the seller or Amazon, and they'll get me sorted quick, fast, and in a hurry. Now I think I just ended my seller warranty. Amazon warranty ended last month, but so I'm officially out of all warranty periods. But that being said, I'm not going to be pushing this device as heavy anymore, and I really want to make this device part of my long-term device collection. So this will only be content creation and thumbnail making going forward. That being said, for that price of about a little bit over $85, can I recommend that you guys and gals go out and pick this up? I'd have to say yes. Okay? That being said, even now today, I just did a price check on this, and it's ranging anywhere from about $90 to about $135 at the most. Okay? And I checked eBay, I checked Amazon, I checked Craigslist, I checked Mercari, I checked a bunch of these different places, and those were the best prices I was able to find. And as always, I will link up the best possible prices down below in the video description, so feel free to check that out. And as always, if your interest is piqued, down below in the video description should be like a one-stop shop for you guys and gals, and you should be good to go. Alright, so again, can I recommend that you guys and gals pick this up? I'd have to say yes. This will make a perfect primary device for anyone, or maybe a starter device for your kids. You're not trying to break the bank, but you do want to give them a reliable device. Go ahead and pick this up. They will really enjoy it. You may even spoil them a little bit with these cameras and that display. They might be a little spoiled, so when it comes time to upgrade again, they might be a little stush. You know what I'm saying? But yes, can I recommend y'all pick this up? Yes, I can. Alright, that pretty much does it for this review. As always, if you guys and gals enjoyed the review and or found it helpful in any way, shape, or fashion, please help your boy out and give the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. If you want to see more content like this, also feel free to hit the subscribe button down below and click off the notification bell icon right next to it so you guys and gals get notified when I publish new videos. So, I did something a little bit different here today. I recorded this video in 4K at 30 frames per second using the rear-facing 12 megapixel camera on the iPhone 6s Plus. Okay? And all the audio for this video here today was recorded using the Comica V30 Lite shotgun style microphone. So please let me know what you think of the overall video and audio quality down below in the comments. And you know, I may even make this a direct upload and just throw in the timestamps. This way it can be untouched and y'all can see it for yourself. So, I don't know. I have to watch it back and play back and decide for myself. But all of this footage was recorded with the rear-facing 12 megapixel camera on the iPhone 6s Plus in 4K resolution at 30 frames per second. So let me know what y'all think. That being said, I hope everyone has a great day, and I will catch you guys and gals in my next video. Peace, everyone. Hey, 6 active, man. You up next. We're going to drop the semi. Alright, have a good one. Peace.